Well, welcome, Sean Donovan.
And welcome, Peter. It's good to see you.
And
we're social distancing, as you pointed out.
You're here to represent STEAM Executive.
And so are you, Peter.
And you're going to answer my questions.
And you'll answer mine, because we're like that.
My question.
What I was going to say today, Peter, was I was just reflecting on Star Trek. I know you're a big Star Trek fan. Now, what's your favourite Star Trek series?
I think Star Trek Voyager.
Voyager. Why Voyager for you?
Because apart from the absence of Luke Picard, the general crew in each episode are more substantial and more interesting than the crews in the other series.
Right, okay.
Deep Space Nine was hopeless because it never went anywhere. And Star Trek Enterprise, the follow-up, which dealt with the first part of the Star Trek Enterprise story and preceded the others. The captain was the wrong choice. He just was not a leader. And so therefore Voyager was the most interesting.
Right, okay, well there you go. Star Trek Voyager, that's your vote.
And what's your preferred?
I was going to say, I believe there's a new series coming with Captain Pike. So between the pre and the cursor, it's the Captain Pike series, I presume.
A fill-in.
A fill-in, yes, that's right. Hello, we've got the children coming. I was probably enjoying the Star Trek series. Now, I was reflecting on the movies, the different movie series. So we had the original movie series with the original crew, and then you had the Picard movie series, wasn't there? Was a series with Picard?
There was a transitional one where both Captain Kirk and Jean-Luc did a time warp, time travel, and both appeared in that particular one.
Okay.
The first one with Captain Kirk, which got a lot of criticism, I quite enjoyed. But all of them have been good in their own way.
And then the more recent ones where they did the reboot, and they sort of went back in time again as they want to do. What do you think of those?
I don't. Yes, with the new cast. I think they're very good. I think the new Kirk and the new Spock are well cast. The technology of today is apparent in the production, and I have enjoyed the rebooting of them very much.
And more recently, the most recent one I think was they did a remake of The Wrath of Khan. And what did you think of the remake?
I thought it was about equal to the original. The original was very good, but I think the remake succeeded in what it was trying to do. I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm going to make a few little comments, if I may, about the original versus the remake.
Yes, you may.
And this sort of follows
Sure.
on.
Would you like to make some comments about the original
I'd
versus
love to
the
make
remake?
some comments, Peter.
Please.
Can I get a word in? And this sort of follows on. You would have seen my sort of reflection on Star Wars from a few weeks ago. So this is sort of along similar lines. So in the original Wrath of Khan, they were travelling out and they didn't know something had happened. The starship had disappeared, or something had happened. So they were sent to find out what had happened. The group go off to find. And anyway, when they get there, of course, it turns out Khan has taken over the thing, and they've got this Genesis device that is supposed to remake worlds and so forth. That it's supposed to be Kirk's ex-wife and son, isn't it? Working on it? Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, Khan, of course, is supposed to be genetically engineered to be superior intellect and superior strength. And he also has his crew with him who are also genetically engineered to be superior intellect and strength as well. The point being that it's not just Khan, it's Khan and his crew that are faced with Kirk and his crew. They're bringing the thing. So the basic thing is, so how can Kirk and their people who are just average, if you like, normal people, not sort of superior bred, how can they outwit Khan? And it turns out that their sort of thing is, well, his thinking is two-dimensional. He's used to sort of being in a two-dimensional Earth-based plateau rather than in space, where he's sort of multi-level. And so that's how they get him, if you like, in the end. But even then, his comeback is to say, well, you know, blow you, I'm going to take you all with me. So he's going to blow up this device, and they're all going to get destroyed because the Enterprise has been crippled. And as you recall, the issue is they have to fix somehow this reactor that's gone down. So Kirk's up on the flight deck, and Spock is down below, and anyway, he makes his way into the chamber, and you know, through skill and knowledge, and he fixes the problem, but he's irradiated, and so consequently he dies. And it's a very sad end to the movie, sort of a pathos, if you like, to the end of the movie, where they're giving him the burial at space, and they pipe him off the ship, and he gets shot off into space. Well, of course, he comes back in the next movie.
The search for Spock.
But that's, you know, an unexpected outcome based on this Genesis device and the effect of this Genesis device. So it's not like in the context of this particular movie, it's not an expected outcome that he will survive. Jump forward to the new movie, so the more recent movie. Now we find that not just is Khan this superior intellect, he can do anything on his own. He doesn't have the crew anymore. The crew's sort of locked in these little cylinders or something, asleep, and he's managed, instead of them going off to sort of rescue some ship that's been taken over, the evil, what they call it, Starfleet. You know, the evil Starfleet have used this sort of mastermind to create all these mega weapons, you know, in an attempt to bring on a war with their enemies. Anyway, so this master person can just create all these things. He's just amazing. He doesn't need anybody else. You know, he can just do anything. And so the context of this movie, the Enterprise are sent off ostensibly to capture him after he's sort of run amok, and he ends up sort of capturing the Enterprise and luring these other people out in the big sort of disaster ship, if you like, to sort of destroy and maim and kill. And then the movie goes on. They sort of outwit him not by sort of strategy, but by subterfuge. They outwit him by putting bombs in the cylinders where his crew are and beaming it back to him. And he's brilliant, but he's stupid. He can't see the obvious, that they put a bomb in this thing they're beaming back at. So instead of outwitting him skillfully and with strategy, they just sort of trick him and bomb him and blow him up. So then, again, both ships are sort of crippled by this experience, and they're sort of descending into the Earth's atmosphere. So again, somebody has to go in and fix the ship. And this time it's Kirk. They reverse the roles. How clever was that in the movie? Instead of Spock going, oh no, we won't do that, people will be expecting that. We'll let Kirk go in. And so Kirk goes in this time, and instead of, using great skill and knowledge and technical capability, no, what's he do? He kicks the bloody thing. So this guy, this sort of presumably a very sort of fine piece of instrumentation. No, he has to kick it to get it to, which I've never, being an engineer, I've never actually seen anybody kick something to make it work. They might kick it if it doesn't work, but they don't kick it to make it work. So, already we see this sort of changes from the original to the new. And then, of course, you know, we don't have the pathos of the ending where somebody died and we have to be sad about it. No, we can't do that in a modern movie. We can't do that in a contemporary movie. We have to have a happy ending, you know. The goodies have to win all the time, you know. So in this case, Spock suddenly becomes this Superman with, you know, great powers, and he's able to leap tall buildings and land on moving things and smash the living daylights out of this superior bred being. And the other little aspect, of course, which comes, I didn't mention, but right back at the start of the movie, it turns out that Khan has magic blood. It's just magic, you know. So at the start of the movie, how they started off is there's this sick child, and, you know, in order to get the father to do his bidding, he says, well, I can save your child. So he just gives a bit of his blood, and miraculously the child is saved by the magic blood, you know. So in this movie, the whole pretext of going to get Khan is that, you know, they'll get his blood and pump it into Kirk, and Kirk makes a miraculous recovery for the end of the movie, and they're all happy and they all, you know, smile, and that's the end of the movie. So again, the difference between sort of 30 years ago when they made a movie, 30 or 30, 40, something of that nature,
about 30-ish.
Where you had, like, you know, a team of people on either side, and, you know, the captain, but he had other people that were advising him and helping him and working the machines and doing whatever they needed to do. And as a team, they have to overcome the obstacles, but in the end, there was sort of this pathos, there was sadness, you know, somebody did die in the whole exercise, and somebody significant. As opposed to the new one, where, you know, it's all magic and hocus pocus, and we don't need anybody, we can just go and do it all on our own, and, you know, as long as you're a Superman, you can fix everything. I'm sure Nietzsche would be pleased, you know, with this sort of thought process. But I do think the modern contemporary movies sort of miss a lot. Maybe the older ones do. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on Star Trek.
The only thing I'm always disappointed with is that in every movie, the Enterprise is crippled or destroyed. Even in the one where they return to the 1960s to find the whale with the original Kirk and Spock, they came in a captured Klingon ship, I think, not the Enterprise. It's always getting destroyed or blown up or something and crippled. They go through a movie.
Yeah.
I don't see why they have to do that.
Well, at least they kept rebuilding the Enterprise. Most of the other class of that starship all just got destroyed, and that was the end of them.
Yes, well, it was a Galaxy-class starship, whereas Voyager in Star Trek Voyager was an Intrepid class.
Right.
A smaller ship.
Well, maybe next video we'll explore the different classes of starships.
We will.
So thank you, Peter.
Well, thank you. And to find out more about Star Trek, please go to steamexecutive.com/Star
Just
Trek.
.com? Just Star Trek, yes. We'll have to create that URL now. Have you got your Trekkie uniform to put on?
I should have brought it.